Tonight, 300,000 people in West Virginia are being told to stay away from their tap water, not to use it for anything, cooking, bathing, washing, anything at all.
State and federal authorities are working around the clock in Charleston, West Virginia, after a spill leaked chemicals into the Elk River.
A state of emergency has been declared in West Virginia in the USA after a chemical leak into a river.
It leaked from a 48,000-gallon tank at Freedom Industries chemical storage facility on the Elk River. About a mile downriver is the West Virginia American Water Company, which supplies 9 counties and some 300,000 people.
President Obama approved a disaster declaration for West Virginia. 9 counties are dealing with a chemical spill. It contaminated the water supply. Up to 300,000 people are being told not to touch the tap water.
As residents of West Virginia line up for bottled water, many like Chase Tavares want to know why there was no state oversight of the chemical company that contaminated the local drinking water.
Thousands have been told the tap water is once again safe, but tonight, a new warning: pregnant women should not drink it, raising the question, what's the truth about what's in the water?
That warning comes more than 2 days after state officials told thousands of people their water was safe to drink and bathe in again.
One thing I do remember about it is that I was over at the state capitol earlier that day. We'd had another freelance reporter was coming into work for us to cover the legislative session. Of course, the state of the state from Governor Tomlin was just, I believe it was the day before, actually. So I was over at the Capitol, and I remember coming back and smelling something in the air, but not really thinking anything of it. I think that, at that point, no one had any clue.
Right. Well, what the chemical spill taught us is that water is extremely valuable, and we just often take it for granted because we have so much of it. If you go out west, they have droughts on a regular enough basis that they understand the value of their water. It was pointed out to me by a visiting scientist, and he has spent a lot of time out west and here back east. And he's like, the one thing that you notice when you go out west is that every hotel, every place you go to has fountains, has water fountains. And when you come east, nobody does. And the reason out west is that they want to show you that they have water. And they have water in abundance. It's a very deep psychological thing.
This was not handled well, in my opinion, at multiple levels. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact we were in uncharted territory. Some of it, I think, of our own making, some of it not. This was a chemical that we knew about and had been a part of the coal industry and the cleaning process for a number of years, but had not been studied very extensively. So we didn't have a lot of information from the scientific community to start with to know, what are the effects? What are the potential hazards? What should we be telling people? And not just as the media, but what should the Department of Public Health be telling people? What should the water company be telling people? And so there was a scrambling at the beginning to just gather information to share. And I think that really sort of set the ball rolling for additional confusion and problems down the line, because one agency would come out with one set of statements or standards, and then another would come out a few days later. I distinctly remember when the do not use bans were lifted, people were able to flush their pipes, and we were explaining to people, this is the process that we've been told, this is the multi-step process you go through to flush out your pipes. But there were all these residual questions. Will any of the MCHM stay in my pipes? Will it cling to the metal? And what about my hot water heater? And no matter how many times we would explain the process as it had been explained to us, viewers weren't believing what they were hearing and what they were seeing, because there had been that confusion in the beginning, and because
the folks at the university here approached me about teaching and sort of helping to direct an censor journalism class. I've been doing some censor journalism projects in the past, and they thought that would be fun. And I actually thought that the best way to do this class would be to use a new DIY almost censor, cheap water sensor that was developed by a guy named Don Blair. And I actually talked to him, tracked him down, and we've become friends. But I wasn't going to do this class unless he was game to help make this real, because this little water sensor, it's only, right now it's like 80 bucks. It's going to be even cheaper once you can mass produce it. But it just makes it so simple for anybody to check out the conductivity, the temperature of a stream or a river, and maybe be an early warning system for pollutants in the water or irregularities going on, and that could warrant further investigation.